Y'all know me as Johnny Figs. I only got 3 minutes to say everything I want to say, so let's get started. First off, we have the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur. They made the first airplane. You see, other people at the time tried to make planes with bigger engines, thinking that it would fly better like that, while Orville and Wilbur were the only ones to apply the three-axis control technique. Guess the brothers were right on that decision. Next is the McKinley assassination. President William McKinley was shot on September 6, 1901 by Leon Soldiers, who believed he was being a hero for his beliefs as an anarchist. 8 days later, President McKinley would die from his wound, and Teddy Roosevelt would inherit his position in office. The Model T was produced from September 1908 to October 1927. It was the first car available to the middle class. It was mass-produced using a revolutionary technique, the assembly line technique. Got handed to Ford, they got the trick down to a T. The Jungle, no, not that kind of jungle, the book by Upton Sinclair was an important part of the progressive era. It exposed the meatpacking factories and all their gross secrets. I'd go into more detail, but you all know about how gross it is, and I'd rather not throw up in the middle of this. Moving on. Brownie. No, not that kind of brownie. Who's in charge of the pictures? Anyway, the Brownie was a Kodak-based camera that came out in the 1900s. Okay, seems I'm running out of time, so I'll do some quick facts. Times Square was created in 1904. Russo-Japanese War started in 1904, ended in 1905. Kellogg's Corn Flakes Company established in 1906. First Crayola crayon, 1903. Naval base at Pearl Harbor, the one that would later be bombed on in the 1940s, improved in 1900, and then Teddy Bear in 1902. The Nobel Prize was also invented in the 1900s, and Teddy Roosevelt would be the first American to receive one. Now lastly, I have my thesis topic, Typhoid Mary. Typhoid is a common worldwide bacterial disease. It's a type of fever that is very contagious. Typhoid Mary, her real name being Mary Mullen, was a woman who had typhoid fever. However, she was a carrier and therefore didn't exhibit symptoms of the disease, but still passed it on to other people. She was also a cook by profession, which didn't exactly help her not spread the disease. A typhoid researcher named George Soper went to her home and told her this, to which she basically replied with, "Bull." Since she refused to let them run some tests on her, they dragged her from her home and quarantined her on a clinic on North Brother Island. She tried to get out by bringing her case to court, but the judge sided with the clinic. They did let her out later in February 1910 on the condition she didn't cook anymore. Of course, cooking was her main profession, and she thought that this was all bull. So she made an alias, Mary Brown, and continued her work as a cook. She would be found out later and be quarantined back on North Brother Island again, this time until she died. I'll be discussing whether or not this was the right thing to do. So that's all from me now. Have a good spring break, everyone, and remember, always speak softly and carry a big stick.